So you want to run a cell camera so you can get those big buck pictures sent straight to your cell phone, but you think you can't afford it because you're on a tight budget? Let's talk about it. Hello everyone, welcome back to The Budget Sportsman. Thank you so much for joining me on today's video. Today we're going to be taking a look at running cell trail cameras on a budget. And we're going to look at both how to get trail cameras on a budget, how to buy the trail cameras themselves, but then we're also going to talk about which trail cameras you should be looking for and which brands you should consider so you can get the best price on the monthly subscription that you're going to need in order for these trail cameras to work. So first up, let's talk about how to get these trail cameras if you're on a budget. Well, it might surprise you to know that some of these, especially certain brands and certain models, really aren't that expensive. You see, a lot of these companies, they want you to buy their trail camera so that they can get you on their monthly plan. For instance, last year, the Muddy Manifest 2.0 went on sale for quite a while for $50 per camera. Now, in my mind, any trail camera that's sub 50 is fairly budget friendly. Sure, you can get some that are $30, but not many trail cameras are below 30. And so to me, anything from about that $30 to $50 or $60 range is a fairly budget friendly camera. When you're talking about getting a camera like this, it's a cellular enabled camera for $50, I think that's a pretty good deal. This is one of the cameras that I have and have used, and it works fairly well. It's not top of the line, but it certainly is going to get you into that cell camera game, and it works pretty well. And I'll talk more about the monthly subscription later on. I also have a stealth cam reactor here, and I bought one of these last year on eBay for about $35. I did have a couple of issues with it, but it worked out in the end. But I bought one of these cameras for $35 on eBay. Over on this side, I've got some Spypoints, and this is the Spypoint Flex. And I bought a Spypoint Flex last year on eBay for under $30. And I knew it was a little bit of a risk, but you know, eBay's got a great protection program, and it came and it worked flawlessly. And so I have gotten some really good deals. Again, a $30 trail camera over here, a $50 trail camera when it went on sale, a $35 camera on eBay. Another one of these cameras I got last year when HuntStand offered a free cell camera if you would sign up for their pro version of HuntStand for the year. And I had been wanting to try their pro version anyway, so I paid for the pro version of HuntStand and got a free camera. Of course, I was paying for it, but it was a reasonable price for the camera, and I got to try HuntStand as well. So if you're willing to do some eBay or some Facebook Marketplace or get on some of the trail camera groups, or you're willing to even go for deals like this and you just watch throughout the hunting season, there's a pretty good chance that you can find some deals on these cell cameras that are pretty reasonable. Now, there is another option if you really are on a tight budget and you want to get into cell cameras, and if you already own some trail cameras, one of the things you could consider is this device right here, which is called the Spypoint Cell Link Adapter. And what it does is it has this little cord that comes down, and it's like a little SD card looking thing on the end of the cord. And what you do is you take this and you plug this cord into any of your existing trail cameras right into the SD card slot, and it will turn any existing trail camera into a cell camera. And these things are very cheap. I think they retail for $50 or $60, but you can get them on eBay all the time for probably $20 to $25. Now, I will warn you that this is not my favorite solution. One of the reasons is this device takes 8 AA batteries. So if your camera takes 8 AA's and this takes 8 AA's, now you're running a 16 battery setup. You also have to pinch this cord in the door of your camera, and I have had some issues. I've even had an animal chew through the cord and had to replace the cord. And sometimes when you close the door on this cord, it actually wants to pull this SD card out and it messes up the connection between the two. So my experience with this has been hit or miss, but if you're in absolutely a very, very tight budget, this is a great way to get started with at least playing around with getting cell camera pictures and trail camera pictures sent straight to your cell phone. Now, over the last couple of years, I have tried a bunch of different cellular trail cameras, and usually I was just buying or picking up whatever I could find at a really good deal without really being too worried about being brand loyal. Then there came a point in time last season when I realized that I was having pictures sent to about 6 different trail camera apps. And it was kind of annoying. Things were all over the place, notifications from all different apps, and I couldn't just get everything all in one place. So I ended up deciding to consolidate down and try to pick a brand, or in my case, 2 brands on 2 apps that really work well for me. So let's go ahead and talk about why I've chosen these 2 brands, and we'll talk about the pricing as well. Now, the first brand I've chosen is Spypoint, and I can already hear some of you saying, oh, Spypoint's terrible. Well, I'm going to talk more about whether or not I really like them in a few minutes, but first let me talk about why I've chosen them. The reason why I love Spypoint is because Spypoint offers 100 free images per month. There is absolutely no fee. Once you buy this camera, you get 100 free images per month. As you can see, I have 4 of these Spypoint Flex cameras. I have a Spypoint cell link adapter, and I also have an old Spypoint cell camera, an older model. I think it's the Link LTE that's actually out in the woods right now. And so I've got a number of them, and all of them can get 100 free images per month. Now, I fully realize that for a lot of people, 100 images per month is not enough. But if you're on a tight budget and you just want to get started playing with it, 100 images a month is a really fun way to do it. Keep in mind, you're talking about maybe 3 images per day there. 3 times 30 days is going to be about 90. So you're going to get 3 to 4 images per day. And that's not a lot, especially if you're going to put it over a food plot or a feeder. It's just not going to work. But in a lot of public land situations where you're maybe trying to just be on a trail or a travel corridor, a lot of times for me, 100 images a month won't last all month, but it will be enough to get me going. The real thing that I like about Spypoint is they also offer what they call the Insider Club. And last year, I decided to join that Insider Club. It's $100 for the year. And when you join the $100 a year Insider Club, you are automatically upgraded from 100 free images a month to 250 images a month across all of your cameras. And again, what I really like about that is I can pay $100 a year and have as many cameras on that plan as I want. Now with 250 images a month, you think about that, 8 images per day times 30 days would be 240 images. So you're going to get somewhere between 8 and 9 images per day. Average is how many you could get per day to fill your quota. And again, that's not a huge number, but for a lot of public land situations or even private land situations where you're not over a food source, you aren't going to be standing in front of it, that actually is sufficient for me in most situations. And again, what I love is I can have as many cameras on that plan as I want. And once I pay, it's good all year long. I don't have to worry about turning it on and off only during the months that I want it. Now, to join the Spypoint Insider Club, it's going to cost you $100 per year, and you divide that out, it's about $8.33 per month. Now, you can see I've got 4 Spypoint Flexes here, plus some others, but let's just go with 4. That means I'm paying about $2 per camera per month, and I can use it all year long. Now, if you have more cameras, that gets even cheaper. Say you have 8 cameras. Now you're only paying about $1 per month per camera. I don't know anybody else on the market who offers any free images at all, and I certainly don't know anybody who offers a plan where you could get $1 per month per camera for 250 images. And again, that goes cheaper and cheaper and cheaper the more cameras that you have. So Spypoint is kind of my go-to to be able to have a lot of cameras for a very inexpensive price. So if you do want to go with Spypoint, but 250 images a month is not enough for you, they do offer other plans where you can upgrade. You can either get 250, you can get 1,000, or you can get unlimited photos every month, and you do pay that per camera. Now, if you are a member of the Insider Club, you do get a 20% discount on any monthly plan. And if you pay annually rather than monthly, and you're a member of the Insider Club, you can get an unlimited plan for about $8 per month. But again, you're actually paying that all at once for the entire year. So while I do enjoy my Spypoints for the fact that now that I'm an Inside Club member, I can add more cameras without adding any additional expense to my plan, I have also chosen not to get rid of another line of cameras over on this side of the table, and that is my cameras from Stealth Cam. I've got 2 here from Stealth Cam and 1 from Muddy, but if you don't know, they're both part of the same overarching company, and they work on the same app. And so why have I chosen to keep these cameras when I started amassing this collection of Spypoints? Well, one thing is, while the Spypoint Flex cameras are pretty good in quality, I do feel like my Stealth Cam reactors actually give me just slightly better quality. I really enjoy the images that come from these cameras, and the Muddy Manifest is not bad either, but the Stealth Cam reactor I think is a little bit better. Now, the other thing is I've also gotten some fairly affordable rates on purchasing these cameras, and that's helped as well. The plans themselves are also pretty affordable. You can get a plan with the Stealth Cam app for about $5 per month will give you 650 images. Now, if you want, you can also go an annual plan where you could pay for the whole year, and it would be about $48 for the year, or just $4 a month would give you 650 images. So really not bad at all. But what I tend to do is I tend to run these in locations where I don't need a ton of images, and the 250 a month is going to be sufficient. And then if I need 650 images a month, then I'm going to run these cameras. Over here on this side, because I'm a member of Spypoint Insider Club, I can run these cameras all year long, whereas over here I tend to only run these just for a couple of months during hunting season. And I think that brings us to a really good point. I think which one you choose is probably going to somewhat depend on whether you want to run your cameras all year long. Over here, I'm paying $100 a year for the plan, and that sounds really cheap if I'm only working it down to about $2 a month per camera, But if I'm actually only running it for 3 months out of the year, now all of a sudden that price went up pretty significantly, and you may be better off running a $5 plan over here and only using it the months you actually need it. Now, I know some of you have probably heard some reviews about both Spypoint and Stealth Cam, and you maybe have heard they're both junk. And I can't really speak to other people's experiences, but I just want to share a little bit about my experience with both of these brands for a minute, because I've had to contact customer support from both of these brands multiple times. And so far, my experiences have been mostly positive. Several years ago, I got a Muddy Manifest as one of my original, actually the very first cellular trail camera that I ever purchased, and it was part of a used bundle. Last season, I went to put it out, and it just simply wouldn't work. I put it out within a couple days, the batteries were dead. I replaced the batteries, and the same thing happened again. I contacted customer support, and they eventually determined that it was basically bricked itself because it was trying to do a firmware update. Now, that's pretty disappointing, but what's not disappointing is they offered to send me a brand new camera, and instead of the Muddy Manifest, they sent me the Muddy Manifest 2.0. Now, think about this for a minute. It was a multiple-year-old camera that I had had for a couple of years already, and I had purchased it used, absolutely zero proof of purchase or anything, and they still replaced it with a brand new camera absolutely free. Now, that customer service is something that's hard to beat. Now, my first Stealth Cam reactor here, I had it up in a tree, and some kind of an animal, put a claw right through this little screen here, the little window that's over the IR bulb, I believe it is. And unfortunately, it quit working, it messed up the camera, and it just started triggering randomly and no longer worked. I contacted Stealth Cam again, and once again, even though it was not a manufacturing defect, it was an animal that clawed my camera, they replaced this absolutely free. Now, I've had a very similar experience with Spypoint as well. Recently, I had a camera that was out, and it just wasn't functioning properly, and it was not sending me pictures. I contacted Spypoint customer support a couple of times. They tried to work through the issue, tried to have me do firmware updates, and nothing seemed to solve the problem. So ultimately, they said they were going to send me a brand new camera. Now, in this case, I do have to send the old one back. And that's actually happened to me twice, I think, but both times Spypoint has offered to completely replace that camera completely free of charge. Now, I will admit it's a little bit frustrating when your cameras don't function as they should. That is certainly frustrating. But with both of these brands, I've had absolutely nothing but great experiences with their customer support, 100% taking care of me, even in situations where I didn't think it was completely necessary. I was totally honest with them about what happened with the bear claw, and they still replaced it free of charge. So these are my thoughts on how to run cellular trail cameras on a budget, both how to buy cameras on a budget and which plans are most affordable for me. If you've got a different thought, if you use a different brand, a different manufacturer, a different camera that you think is the best budget option, then please leave a comment down below so we can start a discussion. And if you enjoyed the video, please consider giving me a thumbs up. Until next time, remember to get off YouTube and get outdoors into God's great creation.